Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of War Thunder. Just a quick video today, because it's almost Christmas and, you know, got a lot of things going on, family round and all that. But today the X-ray for aircraft finally came out. We actually saw it in the dev server, but for some reason it wasn't included in patch 1.45. And they finally added it for the hangar. We haven't quite got it for the in game yet, I don't think. But so this episode I'll be looking at the X-ray and a bit of an analysis or detail on I'll talk a little bit about the components that are in your aircraft. Now, the first thing you got is obviously armour. Looking at the Yak 3 here, I'm having to look at it from the front because can't really get far below on the tail, unfortunately. As you can see here, we've got two armour plates, an 8.5mm thick seat, I think that's the seat, and you've got the headrest, or head armour, not really sure the technical name, which is 64mm. Obviously this is quite thick and makes it quite hard to headshot a pilot from behind. You could get a body shot from behind a bit easier, but again, still 8mm thick armour. It hasn't got any bulletproof glass at the front, unfortunately. We'll go to the P-47. I believe that does have bulletproof windows. Yeah, here's the P-47. So as you can see, some aircraft like the P-47 have incredibly thick and well-sloped armour. Only 38mm thick, but effective thickness from pretty much straight in front is nearly 60mm. Also has armour at the front as well as the back, like with the Yak 3. Trying to find the right button. Now, that front armour doesn't protect your engine, unfortunately, but it will help protect your pilot and your other components, such as the oil cooling system and the fuel tank, which we'll look at in a minute. I'm going to quickly look at the armour on the bombers quickly, just to show how that works. Get our G8N1. Now, obviously, the bomber has a lot more armour. Got armour by the front gunner, about 13mm thick. Now, bomber pilots generally have the armour in the seat as well, which, you know, doesn't protect you from the front. They do get quite good protection from the back, usually. The G8N1 has two lots of armour. You've got the armour here, just behind the pilots, and you've got the seat from the tail gunner. The top gunner, I'm not sure the proper name. Side gunners also get quite good armour, or about 13mm thick, and you've got the rear gunner who's also got armour. Any shots that come through here should theoretically protect the side gunners, not the rear gunner himself because he's in front of the armour, and also slow down the bullets or projectiles heading towards your pilots, or slow them down enough for this armour to take effect. Now, some aircraft do get quite good armour. Case in point, the HS-129B3. We'll just bring that up. Now, this was designed to be able to take ground fire quite well. You can see it's got armour on the bottom of the engines. Got armour over the oil filters or oil cooling system. Not the best armour in the world, but you know, quite good, 5mm. But here at the front, you know, it's not particularly thick at the nose, but it gets thicker as you go up because of the sloping. And it has 70mm thick glass, armoured glass. 40mm side glass. You know, it's a well protected aircraft. And 2mm around the sides. Well protected aircraft. Some, I believe, have really good armour for... I don't know if this is meant to have really good armour, if it's a glitch. On the old 28, unless it's been changed since I last checked it earlier. If we look here, 105mm thick glass, or... I don't know if that's a glitch or if that's meant to be like that. Basically, a shot through here would have to go through 105mm of glass sort of exit around here, arc downwards, and then go through a further 10mm of armour before it could hit the pilot, who might survive anyway because of high vitality skills. Although if it managed to, and the shot managed to penetrate through this, it's probably going to be quite a big round and probably kill anything in its way. Some aircraft just do not get armour. Japan, I'm looking at you. We look at the G8 G4M1. Just doesn't have any armour. You know, most Japanese planes didn't have much armour, for the simple reason they were designed to, I think it was designed to outrun most aircraft, and they needed to get rid of a lot of weight so they could have extreme ranges. Quickly look at the Zero, again, no armour. I'm not sure if one of the later Zeros does get armour, quickly check that out. No, the later Zero doesn't get any either. But we're not here to look at each and every plane. Gonna look at some of the modules as well involved in the aircraft that you can destroy. You know, the damage model, I suppose. Look at the I-185. Now here, you can see these huge blocks are your fuel tanks. You got one right in front of the pilot, and you got two in the wings, sort of sticking out of the fuselage. You've also got your cannons. I don't think you can actually damage these, but they're shown anyway. And you've got your oil cooling system and your engine. Now, obviously, the fuel tank, if hit, can do one of two things. It could either start leaking. That's not actually too bad for me. You know, I don't mind losing a bit of fuel, especially on the aircraft that have like hours worth of fuel, because that can lighten your weight and make you more manoeuvrable. In realistic, it's more of a problem because it tends to leak out a lot faster, and bigger maps, longer flight times. Obviously, you don't want to run out of fuel. But in arcade, it seems to run out slower, but you know, so it's less of an effect there. Now you've got your oil cooling system as well. Oh, sorry, I forgot the second effect of the fuel tank. The second effect of your fuel tank being hit is obviously it may catch fire. Some aircraft have armour to protect your fuel tanks for this reason. There's not really any way to stop these fires. I know some fires can be stopped if you turn your engine off. Going to 0% throttle and hitting the engine off, engine on button, which is I in my case. It only works sometimes, but sometimes your pilot will get shot while flying a burning plane. You'll see the fire will go out. It's probably because the engine's turned off, which seems to happen when you're shot or killed. As I was saying as well, you've got your oil cooling system. Now, obviously this helps cool your engine oil, which helps keep your... basically, if your oil gets too hot, your engine overheats, unless I'm mistaken. Again, this is more of a realistic battle simulator battle problem. I've never seen it actually have a negative effect in arcade. I've sometimes had the engine cut out, but I think that's more to do with the engine itself. I've never seen it overheat. I've done damage to people's oil cooling system, but I've never, you know, by the time I've seen them destroyed before the damage can have any effect. So yeah, it doesn't really, more of a problem for realistic battle again. Obviously you got your engine as well. If it's damaged, it produces less horsepower and then shuts down. For me, this seems to happen quite quickly. It seems to go from either light red, which doesn't really seem to have much effect, to black or dark red and then black in like a few seconds. At which point you just start gradually losing speed and then your engine shuts down. Obviously not something you want to happen. Although, like I said, it usually keeps going for a few seconds, so you can usually stop at least planning your journey back to the airfield. Now these things are the traction of control surfaces. Now this is probably what most people don't realise. You might be flying your plane absolutely fine. You take a few shots, you've got no damage, but you lose your elevator or something, or your rudder. What has probably happened is a bullet has severed one of these traction of control surfaces wires or whatever they're made of. So no actual damage to your elevator or your rudder, but you know, you can't control it, so you know, it's effective. It just goes straight to black because obviously it's destroyed more or less. you know, you can't control it. It doesn't happen too often now. It used to happen quite a lot, I believe. Well, at least for me it did. And it's probably one of the more annoying problems, because obviously your plane's completely fine. You've just got a severed wire, in effect. Now, you've also got your spar. I believe it's... I don't know if it's to do with the new damage model. I don't know if you can lose these bars, or if they're what controls the lift on, like, you know, when you get the black and damaged wings. I don't know too much about these, but I'm going to assume these are more to do with the new damage model. Maybe you can lose this spar, this part of the wing, but you keep this bit. I'm just going to assume it's to do with losing your wings and stuff like that. Because honestly, I don't understand that. You know, I'm not too much of an expert on these bits myself. Now, moving on to bombers, we'll go to the GA-N1, because it's a big aircraft, probably has more stuff on it to look at. Accidentally clicked the test flight by mistake. Now, again, you got your fuel tanks. Obviously, bombers are likely to carry more fuel tanks. Here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8? Oh, they count as 1. And, you know, a lot of fuel tanks all along the wings, all in the fuselage. It's obviously going to cause a lot of damage. Hasn't really got any armour protecting them either. You know, same effects as earlier though. Again, we've got our oil cooling system. Where are you? Here. And we've got a liquid cooling system. I don't really know how that works. I assume it cools your water or something, because you have like your oil and your water, unless I'm mistaken. My apologies, I was mistaken. Just quickly checked. You have your oil and your engine that you can cool down. I assume the liquid is more for cooling the engines. Not all aircraft have these, so I assume it depends on the aircraft. I assume it's going to have a similar thing to oil cooling system, damaging that, or I assume will overheat your engines quicker, or cause damage to engines, that sort of stuff. You know, I don't particularly, you know, I've not encountered these too often. Well, we only got the X-ray today, so I've only seen them today. Didn't know they existed before, so yeah, don't know too much about them, unfortunately. Now, guns are listed. You got your machine gun and you got your cannons, but it doesn't actually list the cannons. For whatever reason, I assume this is maybe just to show where the gunners are. I don't think you can have the actual guns themselves destroyed. So again, that's probably just showing where the gunners are. And again, you can see these traction of control surfaces. Quickly show you some of the jets as well, because they may have, or rocket planes in this case, because they may have slightly different areas for your engine. Obviously, your engine on your KI-200 is at the back, and I assume the same for the Comet. Now, I'm not sure you can actually destroy a rocket plane's engine. I've never actually gone against them, but they only have a limited amount of fuel, so I assume you probably could actually destroy them, but it would probably be so rare, like, you know, I wouldn't bet on it happening. Again, with the jets, now you can see on the Kitsuka here, the oil cooling system and the engines are practically in the same place. So again, for jets, these may be more vulnerable, because you fire a shot, you're not just hitting the engine, you're going to hit the oil cooling system, if you're hitting that general area. Quickly check out the bombers. It's only going to be the Canberra, really. Sorry, my throat's going a little bit. Having a bit of a sore throat today. Yeah, again, the Canberra, you've got your engines here. Fuel tanks along the wings. Spars right in the middle of the wings on here. Got a lot of fuel tanks here, actually. Doesn't actually seem to have an oil cooling system as such, or if it has, I can't really see it. Yeah, I assume they phase it out on jets, maybe, but then we just saw it in the Kitsuka though, so I don't know how that works. This is the interdictor model, so it also helps show you where the guns are as well, which is all good. Now, before we quickly just end this episode, we're just going to quickly look at the Sturmovik, because I heard that it did have quite a bit of armour on it. Just see what the armour's like on here. Well, takes up nearly half the aircraft. Only thin armour though. 4mm around all of this area, 5 here, 6 here. yeah, got a lot of armour on it, but it's not particularly well armoured, I don't think. I think everything else is something like 8%. Oh, the back's got 12. Let's just see the modules. Wait. Let me just go to the R2M a sec. That might have better armour. No, there is actually a fuel tank between the gunner and the pilot. Seems like an odd place to put it, but you know, you got a lot of armour, but if it catches fire, you're probably going to lose your pilot and your gunner in a few seconds. Well, you definitely lose your gunner. He doesn't look like he's got anything. Oh, he's got a little bit of armour between it. I always just assumed it was, you know, like the pilot was here and it just went straight to the gunner, not to a bloody fuel tank. One last thing I've checked, I was about to end the video, but if you go to the LA5, you can get these modifications. 8.5mm rear armour plate replaced by 10mm, 66mm armoured glass replaced with 75mm armoured glass. Customization. The rear armour plate doesn't seem to be replaced with a 10mm armour plate, and neither the 66mm rear armoured glass doesn't seem to be replaced with a 70mm or 75 or whatever it was. Now I'm hoping to God this is one of those things that doesn't show in the hangar but is applied once you get into the game, because it does actually tell you you lose like 0.1 turning time or something. The fact it's not showing here does make me wonder if I've kind of been conned with that modification, if it doesn't actually take effect. Well, like I said, I am just hoping it's not showing because it's in the hangar. But anyway, I've been waffling on for a long time now. Yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you like the video. Subscribe if you like these sorts of videos. Leave feedback. Could always do with more feedback. Happy Christmas to everyone, because this probably is going to be my last or second to last video before Christmas. Have a bit of a break probably. So, yeah, happy Christmas everyone, have a happy holidays and all that. Yeah, and I'll see you next time.